If you're spending hours studying organic chemistry and still not getting your A, this video is for you. Let me start with an example. Here is a fairly typical second semester organic chemistry question. We start with the benzyl alcohol and we need to convert it into the carboxylic acid. The very first thing that I noticed here right away is that I have an extra carbon over here. Which means that the best approach to this question would be first to convert my alcohol into the corresponding bromide, then I'm going to treat it with sodium or potassium cyanide to make the corresponding nitrile, and I'm going to hydrolyze it to make my carboxylic acid. Alternatively, we could also use the Grignard approach here and do the entire reaction via the carboxylation using the carbon dioxide and the Grignard reagent. And if you have seen questions like this before, it probably felt very familiar. If you haven't, it felt like you just learned something useful, right? And if that is what you just thought, congratulations, you are in the majority. And I also have tricked you. You see, I've been teaching organic chemistry for over 20 years, and I see the same issue coming up over and over again, and that's the most students are stuck in the recognition and memorization loop. What you have just felt now, this little, oh I get it, this little light bulb moment, that's actually not learning, that is recognition. That's just a quick dopamine hit because your brain felt something familiar, something your brain can recognize. And our brain really loves patterns. But the trick is that I didn't actually teach you anything. I gave you a very specific recipe for a very specific problem. That's it. Now, watch this. I'm going to go back to my screen here and I'm going to put a slightly different example on my screen. Now, in this case, I have 2 extra carbons. So the previous approach not going to work and we have to come up with a completely different new sequence. See, the idea was the same, but the slight change in the final structure, that extra carbon meant we all of a sudden have to have a completely new approach and the old one just doesn't work anymore. So now you feel like you need another trick, another rule or another recipe if you like, and that is the trap that I was talking about. Organic chemistry is not your grandma's recipe book. You cannot just keep on collecting those recipes and hope that that is going to help you on the test. So what should you do instead? You should focus on building blocks. Every reagent in organic chemistry can be easily classified as acid, base, nucleophile or electrophile. And of course, we also need to know the solvents and the catalyst because you have to recognize those as well when you are doing your reactions. And once you recognize those roles, reactions will stop being memorized facts, but rather will become patterns and logical progressions. You have a strong base, well, something is going to get deprotonated. You have a nucleophile and an electrophile, well, they're going to be attacked, and so on. You're no longer going to be just recalling facts, but instead you're going to be reasoning through your reactions. Let me give you another example. Here is a reaction that I had in one of my recent tutoring sessions. And student looked at the molecules, she recognized the tosylate over here, and after that she didn't know what to do because she told me that, well, I know that tosylates are used when we are making bromides from alcohols, but I am not seeing potassium bromide or anything of that sort here, so I don't know how to proceed. That is your example of a recipe. She didn't recognize tosylate as a living group. She just recognized it as a part of the recipe that she used whenever we needed to go from the alcohol to the corresponding bromide or whatever might be the case. But since tosylate is a good living group, that means that this carbon where the tosylate is a wonderful electrophile, so I'm going to show it as such. We also know that triphenylphosphine, this species over here, well, that is a nucleophile. We have an electrophile, we have a nucleophile. Now we're going to have a reaction between those. So we can show an electron pair from the triphenylphosphine reaching out over here, kicking our tosylate out, giving us our final products that are going to look something like this. See, if you are just relying on recipes, one small change breaks everything. If on the other hand you understand the patterns, then you can easily adapt. And this is also where a lot of students sabotage themselves. I constantly hear, how do I know blank? And you insert whatever question it is you want to know. How do I know which double bond reacts? How do I know which atom gets protonated? How do I know which atom is going to attack my electrophile or whatever else might be the case? Well, the thing is, you don't. That's the whole point. You are not supposed to know ahead of time. Whenever you hear yourself asking this question, your brain is begging for a trick, for a shortcut, for a quick answer. But that's not how organic chemistry works. We don't just have a bunch of rules to memorize and then regurgitate on the test. Instead of asking how do I know, try both options. Try reacting both double bonds. Try protonating both atoms. See what it gives you. See what type of intermediates you're going to get, which intermediate is better and why, and go from there. That is how chemistry actually works. Let me put it this way. If you go to, let's say, an ice cream shop and you are trying to figure out which ice cream do you want, you are not asking yourself a question, which is the correct choice for the ice cream. You try a few flavors and you pick from there. It is exactly the same idea in organic chemistry, but now you are doing that for reactions. You don't just know magically which bond to react or which product is going to be formed. You are going to do a little bit of a mental experiment, and based on your experiment, you will figure out what exactly is going on there. You explore first and you conclude second. So if there is one thing I want you to take out of this, is that organic chemistry is first and foremost a science of patterns, not memorization. It's about reasoning and not tricks. So if you ever catch yourself at the stage where you are collecting different facts and collecting different tricks, you are doing something very wrong. You are not approaching studying organic chemistry correctly. And because of that, you are going to keep on hitting the wall. If instead you switch to understanding roles, patterns, and mechanisms, that is where the understanding and studying begins, and that is how you are going to ace organic chemistry.